And now for part 2.
Four, I have blamed many people and many things for my fat, but I must admit I am to blame. I hold the fork.
It's so easy to point the finger, isn't it? You got a problem? Well, let's find someone or something to blame it on. Let's blame it on God. This is a very popular one. I get lots of letters like this. I quote, "This is the way God meant me to be. I was born fat." Well, you may have been born with a few larger fat cells, and sometimes that can make weight loss a little harder. But honestly, in all my years of working with overweight people, I have never met anyone who couldn't make the numbers on the scale move. So this stuff about blaming God is out. Next, we move on to, I have big bones, and that's why I'm heavy. If you have a 38-inch waistline, believe me, it's not bones. Double chins have no bones in them, nor do your inner thighs. You may have a large frame. That's a nice term for a big skeleton. And yes, you may possibly have big bones, but please, please, don't get big bones and big appetites mixed up. So understand, your bones are not to blame. The next one is my personal favorite. Let's blame it on our moms. All of this is their fault.
Wow.
Your mom did this to you. She ate a dozen glazed donuts every day when she was pregnant with you.
No,
when you were just a little infant, she dragged you to the movies and you shared her lap with a tub of buttered popcorn.
Oh, wow.
Your mother, what a trip. She baked you cakes for your birthday, made you cookies when you got that D in English, and when you got an A in English, she simply left you at the bakery for a few hours. M-O-M. Take away the O, and you've got M&Ms. And the O is the shadow of an Oreo cookie. Mom, I finished everything on my plate. I know, there's starving kids all over the world. Son, your mother worked very hard on that dinner. Now show her your appreciation. Eat something, honey. You'll feel better. How about seconds? There's plenty of food here. Come on.
Oh, wow.
You're not eating. You're not eating. Are you sick? Honey, are you sick?
will
All right.
give
You can blame your mom a little bit. Yes, you can also blame your aunt, your next door neighbor, TV commercials, school lunches, and the Easter Bunny. What I'm trying to say is the blame belongs on your eating habits. That's right. All those dirty little food habits you picked up on the road of life. Are you ready? Let's go through a few that really take the cake. Oops, I mean the oat bran muffins. Do you eat off other people's plates? Now, who taught you that? Just kidding. A lot of people do it, and it begins ever so innocently. Hey, are you gonna eat your pickle? Are you gonna finish your sandwich? At first, you ask permission, and then as the habit grows worse, you move on to stealing food off other people's plates while they're not looking.
No.
Is there no shame?
No.
Do you use bread as a shovel or sponge? Want to pile more food on that utensil? Why, try using a piece of French bread. Look, there's some blue cheese salad dressing left in the bowl. Soak it up with a little help from a sourdough roll. There's gravy on the plate, no problem. Try this piece of cornbread. That should do the trick. Do you eat while shopping at the supermarket? You know, grab some cookies and munch on them while grocery shopping? When you get the bags into the car, do you go through the closest one and maybe eat a little something on the drive back home? And maybe leave a little chocolate stain on the steering wheel? Do you think about seconds while eating your first helping? When you clean up the kitchen and wash the dishes, do you beat the leftovers to the fridge? Because you eat out of the pots and pans with your fingers? Do you eat while watching television? Do you eat while listening to music? Oh no! Are you eating while listening to this tape? Are you a late night eater? What's that sound? What is that sound? Tupperware opening up around 11 p.m. all over the country. Do you eat out a lot? Do you get in your car and drive miles and miles to pick up food? Do you have a bulletin board filled with menus of restaurants that deliver in less than 20 minutes? Did you ever lick the icing off a stainless steel whipper? Ever eat Toll House cookies raw? Ever eat a Dove bar in the dark? Well, my friends, you have passed the test. You are now a member of the Eating Habits from Hell Club. Yes, sirree, your mind and hands are filled with food memories. But don't forget who picks up the fork. You will learn new eating habits, yes you will. You will always be haunted a little by those 4th of July picnics, but your eating habits will get stronger and stronger. They will. You'll see.
5. I forgive those who have made fun of me, judged me, or put me down because of my weight.
It's so hard to forgive, isn't it? Well, it's not my strongest virtue either. But if you want to get past the fat, you're going to have to face certain things and be able to forgive and go on living. One day a student of mine voiced out, I'm having trouble with this 5th one. I can't forgive because I'm still angry. Are you still angry? Were you made fun of? Well, so was I, all the time. People saw one thing, a fat kid. They didn't see me, they just saw the fat. Sticks and stones may break your bones, and words will break your heart. Growing up fat was a nightmare. Going to school every day and being called names every day made me feel so out of place, so inferior. At one point in my life, I actually thought Fat Pig was my real name. Eating lunch in the schoolyard was the worst for me. Nothing like hearing everybody make oink oink noises while trying to finish my fried bologna sandwich on white bread with mayo. Why did I have to be the butt of all the jokes? Why did I have to be attacked because food was my best friend? The answer to these questions didn't come to me until my teenage years. It's just the law of the land. If you're different in any way from the rest, you will hear about it. Now, being made fun of and having to deal with verbal abuse is just the first step. Being judged and categorized is next. You walk into a room and you start getting stared at. These people don't even know you, and just by one glance, one head-to-toe look, they know your whole story. I recall once I was in a shopping mall. It was some holiday season and the place was packed. Even with all the noise, I heard people talking about me. Look, isn't that a shame? Well, he must be retarded or something. Oh, he has such a nice, handsome face. Poor thing must have a lot of problems. I wanted to turn around and say, hey, wait a minute. Don't say that. You have no right to be speaking about me like that. But I didn't. I didn't say anything. I just kept walking, acting like I never heard it. You see, I held everything inside. As I continued to live my life with the weight problem, I came to the conclusion that many people who had never been overweight didn't care very much for fat people. I also realized that people who were a little overweight sometimes didn't care very much for those who were very overweight. I asked a lot of people, what do you think of our overweight population? And here's what I got. Fat people are slow. They miss a lot of work. They're sometimes very sloppy and always emotional. Fat people don't care about themselves. Can you believe that? There were some remarks that were so offensive, I couldn't even say them. Every human being gets judged for something or another. You may get judged because of your weight. The judgments sometimes are pretty stiff. I didn't get that job because I'm fat. I didn't have that date because I'm fat. Discrimination goes on every day, and yes, you do have a reason to be angry and be hurt. But please, forgive that stranger. Forgive that friend. Forgive that little kid. You'll be able to go on with your life and think a lot clearer. But promise me this, if you are somewhere and you overhear anyone making a judgment or negative comment about you, you turn around and set that person straight. Just do it nicely.
6. I forgive myself and forget about all the times I tried before.
Those around you are not the only ones that have ripped your heart out and played basketball with it. You've done it to yourself. Well, I sure did it to me. You know the old saying, you are your worst enemy? I lived that slogan. See if any of this speech I used to give myself sounds familiar to you. And I always did this speech in front of a mirror. It was so much more dramatic. Oh no! Look at you. Just take a look at you. What have you done? How did you let yourself get this way? It looks like you put your thumb in someone's mouth and you just blew up. Oh, I can't go out looking like this. I just can't. I am gross. I am useless. I am a useless human being. I am lower than a pit bull. Honey, Alexis Carrington has nothing on you. We are hardest on ourselves than anyone else, don't you think? Now, how many times have you thumbed through every hanger of your closet? Oh, this one doesn't fit. This one has a stain on it. Oh, and there's a button missing. Now, this one I can only wear if I can stand the whole evening. Absolutely nothing that involves sitting. That was really good for your ego. Now, have you ever bumped into someone you haven't seen in a long time? You know, like at a sale or the home and garden show at the convention center? Barbara? Barbara Ryman? Barbara Ryman, how many pounds has it been? Oops, I mean, how many years has it been? These little moments of your life go on and on. You sink lower and lower. You begin feeling guilty. You pick on everything you do. You find fault with yourself and often feel you deserve this somehow. You've done things in your past, and this is your punishment. This is your fate. Now stop that right now. Turn your thinking around from this moment on. Don't think like that anymore. You have treated yourself badly, shamefully, and you must stop weighing yourself down with tidbits from the past. Stop putting yourself down for any reason. You, my friend, are a terrific person. So stop being Lawrence of Arabia and get out of the sand. I know for most of you out there that this is not your first attempt at losing weight. You've told me this over and over. I met you at a shopping mall or an airport or a school, and you told me, well, a doctor put me on a diet when I was in my teens. I was put on a diet when I was 8 years old. I was on Weight Watchers. I tried OptiFast. I took diet shots, diet drinks. I lost, I gained, I lost, I gained. I lost 100 pounds and have gained back 80. Your life has been dieting and dying a slow death. Every time you go on a diet and it doesn't work, you remember it, don't you? The diet books you purchased are right now in the garage, aren't they? Remember all those diets you cut out of magazines, sticking them on the fridge with magnets in the shape of pizzas? Remember the ones you went on with friends or family members who are still not speaking to you? You just can't seem to forget about all this. You have this chain around your neck, and at the end of the chain, you're dragging this green blackboard trimmed in beige pine. And on the board is written every diet you ever tried, and the total amount of money that you have thrown away in 3-foot bright red numbers. You drag it to work, you drag it to the shower, you drag it everywhere. Hello? Hello, are you there? Why don't you just release that burden? And here's what you should be saying to yourself. Yes, in front of a mirror. I've been very hard on myself, and I'm going to lighten up. Yes, I have done some silly, stupid, expensive, unhealthy things to try and dump this fat. I did it, and it's over. It's behind me, and I'm starting a brand new way of life. And that's why I must fill my head with up, positive, and motivating thoughts, and nothing else.
and we'll continue on part 3.